Jesus taught tithing. You know, many people are surprised to find that out. I've had people ask me, Bishop, where in the New Testament does it tell us to tithe? And I always point out first about Jesus and what he said. And when they read the scripture, most Christians say, well, I didn't know that. Thank you. That settles the question. Where is this teaching found? It's found in two Gospels, in Luke 11:42 and Matthew 23:23. Let's read the Matthew Gospel. And here's the passage. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give a tenth of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. Jesus is telling them, you are to practice justice, mercy, and faithfulness, but not to replace tithing. You are to keep the tithing, but add these other virtues in your life. That settles the issue, doesn't it? Jesus affirmed the need to tithe. Now, there are some who say, well, wait a minute, he's talking to Pharisees. And so those are commandments to Israel, not to us. Really? That would make Jesus an unjust teacher, that he demands more of Israel than he demands of Christians. That's not just. Secondly, do you believe that you should show justice, mercy, and faithfulness? Or are you exempt from that too? Well, no, we're supposed to do that. Well, then you're inconsistent that you want to take half the verse and say that's for you, but the other half, you exempt yourself from it. That is hypocritical. Finally, it really doesn't matter who Jesus is talking to, whether he talks to a Pharisee or whether he talks to a Samaritan woman or to Pontius Pilate or to a woman caught in adultery or teachers of the law or to Jairus, the synagogue ruler. It doesn't matter who he's talking to. What Jesus says to one is truthful to everybody. Let's just use this argument for a moment. Jesus spoke to a Pharisee named Nicodemus late at night. No one was around to hear him. And he said to Nicodemus in John 3:3, you must be born again. So using that argument, does that mean only Israel should be born again because he's talking to only a Pharisee? Do you see how ridiculous that is? I'll give you another one. In Matthew 19, Jesus is having a debate with the Pharisees about divorce. He's not talking to his disciples, but to the Pharisees. But after the debate is over, in Matthew 19:10, his disciples applied the teaching to themselves and said, well, if this is the situation between a husband and wife, it's better not to marry. The point is, the disciples applied the teachings to the Pharisees to themselves. So it is hypocritical to deny Jesus' teaching because he spoke it to the Pharisees. In the end, it's simply greed that is your problem.